I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 26 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am the founder of Batman on Film. Who am I? Rick?
Bill, Jett, Ramey.
That's right. I'm Bill, Jett, Ramey. That's who I am. And I'm with, of course, I've already mentioned him, Rick Shew. Rick, you going to a mall in Mesquite this morning?
Yeah,
Sears? You're gonna go to a Sears store?
Let's have one more person tag me in that video online. 678 times wasn't enough. Yes, my hometown of Mesquite. It's funny because there was a viral video from Mesquite a couple of months ago that went global, and it was a great little footage of a police officer going into an urban apartment complex, and everybody was getting along, and they did a little play boxing, and it was camaraderie. It was good. And then you turn around and you get this one. Just you take one step forward, it takes 10 steps back.
Just Google Mesquite, Texas Sears, and you'll see everything you need to see. All right.
I grew up in that mall, Town East Mall. I've been to that Sears many a time, sir.
All right. We're from relatively similar areas, even though they're a couple hundred miles apart. Our hometowns I'm speaking about. So, if you like what we do here at Batman on Film, including over at BOF Proper, all the great podcasts, and of course the vlogs and everything, you can become a patron and contribute to Batman on Film. Patreon.com/Batman on Film if you're so inclined to check that out. And Batman on Film is the sponsor and a member of the Batman Podcast Network. And you can check out all the shows at BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. All right, ready to get on today's show, Rick? Are we ready, or we have any more? Well, you went to, let's see, what have we done since we've last visited on the vlog? Was this before or after you went to California? The last. I don't
think we've talked since California.
Okay, so you went to California.
Went to California.
Yeah.
Got to meet Andy.
Yeah, Southern California.
Hung out with Andy from Holy Batcast. That was cool to meet him in person. And Justin from BOF. We hooked up. I got to meet his wife. I've never met her. It was cool, man. We had a good time. I went for a wedding, and it was one of my Left Shoe Politics partners that I've known for 20 years, and I haven't seen him.
I'll give him a shout out. He's a BOFer. He's on the.
Yeah. Jeremy. I'm gonna butcher his last name on purpose because he says I never properly pronounce it. Jeremy Grogley.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, he got married. It was awesome.
All right.
And one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a wedding. He married a lovely young lady originally from South Korea. Her whole family's from Korea, or most of them. There was a table full of men and women that could not speak English, and so there was a translator. Jeremy gets up to give a speech, right? He said, I'm going to give a speech. He's got the translator translating it to Korean, so the Korean family knows. He's, wait. You know what? This isn't quite working out. I got to start over. And I'm in the audience going, dude, get it together, man. It's just a speech. And this cat busts out with Korean and gives like a 5-minute speech in Korean, dude. He's been working on it privately and secretly for 8 months. Wow. And he closed it out, and then all of a sudden, the only person in on it was the Korean translator, because all of a sudden she just started translating to English, and so you knew she was in on it. And I think she was a cousin of the bride. And then he said at the very end, I'm learning this so we can speak to our future children in Korean at the house or something like that. I mean, it was like, it was epic, man.
All right.
Cool wedding. Next day, I hung out with Justin, Andy, Justin's wife, and a bunch of friends from LA. It was fun.
It was awesome, right?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Good to be back in Hollywood. And I still call it Hollyweird.
All right.
That's very 90s. I don't care.
Well, I went to New York, and I've been 10 times. This is the first time I've ever did anything touristy, Rick, ever.
I saw all the pictures. Went to Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. Went to Ground Zero, the 9/11 memorials, which is.
I think if you're in New York, everyone should go pay their respects there. It's humbling.
Reflecting pools, I think they call them. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but they were awesome. Went to Top of the Rock at Rockefeller Center, and my wife and son went and saw Phantom of the Opera, and I did not. I went and met up with Peter, Vera, and Eric Holzman at a bar, sports bar, on West 41st Street, the public bar. Yeah, public bar. Well, whatever. Yeah, public house. That's it, Rick. The public.
So
house.
we both got to hang out with some cool Batman folk.
Yes.
BOF and
two different. I mean, opposite ends of the United States, East Coast, West Coast. So, United States. Spanning the nation from coast to coast and around the world, in many countries like England, where I know that we have a lot of sad BOF English friends there from the World Cup match I watched yesterday. Pulled my ass off for England and bummed out. Anyway, all right, let's talk.
Sorry, Tom McClellan.
Yes, yeah,
Just
Tom.
Tom's bummed.
Yeah.
We
Shout
love
out,
Tom.
Yes. Tom, how are you?
I'm not a big soccer fan, so I like to troll him, but I don't hate the sport, and I would like to have seen England win. All joking aside, it's but hey, I didn't think they would get as far as they did, so good for them.
Yeah, that's who. United States wasn't in it, so that's who I was pulling for.
But we're ready for some real football. Yeah, we have our own
real football.
Real
football.
Real football, the sport that everyone uses their foot in.
Yes,
the American Football League.
Yes.
The National Football
American football. All right. Finally. All right. Let's see. Rick, you wrote an op-ed about Robin on film, Robin in live action, how you think it could be done and work. Because Robin's tricky to do.
In my opinion.
Yes. I mean, I will say that. It's tricky to do. I mean, you go too old, it's not Robin. You know what I mean by when I say that? For example, Chris O'Donnell, I thought they did the Robin thing pretty good in Batman Forever, but Chris O'Donnell, who was playing a 16-ish, 17-year-old person, was like 25 when he shot the role, and it's not like Tom Holland, who's like 47 and looks 16, playing Spider-Man right now.
Ryan Haas tweeted that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the best Robin on film we have to date. Something like that. I thought that was actually pretty clever.
I have no problem with those actors who can play younger,
Right.
But
Matthew Broderick did it.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell looked his age, and so that took away that aspect. Someone mentioned or emailed me and said, I think it worked better in Batman and Robin because George Clooney was so much older, and you had the father-son thing, and I was going like, Val Kilmer's a year older than George Clooney, so
he just looked it. And I will say that it's funny. I'm in my article, I never actually reference 1997's Batman and Robin. I just talk about Batman Forever, but really, it's the same in terms of the context of the article. But I will say this. I would say maybe Robin did work a little better because it wasn't his origin and he was established. And that leads into my op-ed that I would love to see, personally, a trilogy that centers around the Batman and Robin relationship. And by the third film, you're seeing them truly as the dynamic duo. He's older, but we've earned that, and he's built that up from the time he was, I don't know, let's just say 15, 16. And then he's 24, 25.
I mean, well, really? That old? Then you're Nightwing.
When it ends. Well, he's on his way to become Nightwing. I mean,
you're saying never see Robin. You go straight from a kid who's taken in by Bruce Wayne, and then when he becomes adult, he's Nightwing, and there's skipping the Robin
No, certainly he's Robin, but why do we have to skip? Why does he have to be Nightwing in the film just because he's 23, 24. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
Right.
I'd rather by the time he gets to be that age, he's Nightwing and become.
And that's just it. Maybe he's building up to going out on his own or whatever. Here's the premise here. Here's my issue. I think, and I look, how many directors have been involved in projects revolving around Batman since the 1989 Warner Brothers? Okay, you have Tim Burton, you have Joel Schumacher, you have Nolan, you have Zack Snyder, and you have who am I leaving out? Is that everybody?
Reeves, but Matt Reeves is.
Matt Reeves.
We haven't got there yet, but.
So you have 4 major directors,
yeah.
and only one of them has used Robin. Now, we can talk about The Dark Knight Rises, and that's certainly a nod to Robin, a symbolic Robin.
Rick, that counts as Robin. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I agree, and I slightly disagree.
You agree with me? I mean, it's not Robin in the green and orange yellow suit with running around as a true crime-fighting sidekick for years, but that was that version. That was that trilogy, the trilogy's version of Robin, and it's as legitimate as any other version. Whether you like it or not, I would argue that it's still legitimate. You don't have to like it, but it's still Robin.
I would agree with you that it's legitimate, and I would certainly agree with you that it was no one's Robin in the vacuum that trilogy exists in. But I would also say that I wouldn't count him as a look. There's been one real true Robin on film, and that was the Joel Schumacher Joel Schumacher films, and that's it. And the point of bringing that up.
Well, the 66 movie and the TV show.
I understand. I'm talking about since there's been the cinematic Warner Brothers films that we've grown to love, right? I mean, we can go back to the serials in the 40s. We can talk about the TV show. Well, that's fine and good. But there's a reason why directors have kind of stayed away from them, and the reason that it didn't quite work with the Joel Schumacher films because it's hard to pull off. And so my whole thing is, why is it hard to pull off? Well, if you make him too old, it's goofy. It doesn't work. If you make him too young, like he is in the comics, okay. So I'm reading right now some old standalone Tim Drake stories. I'm enjoying them, but I mean, he's a sophomore in high school, and he's talking about his studies, and Bruce Wayne's lecturing him, "Hey, you're not going out with me tonight because you need to, get on your homework." I'm like, will that work in a grounded, gritty, realistic Batman film?
I don't think.
And
so.
I don't think so. I don't personally think so either. Well, look, it's it's child abuse, man. I mean, this isn't Peter Parker. He's not a kid with godlike powers that you would encourage to go out and utilize those powers for the better good of society. This is a kid. He's a badass. For sure, no matter what incarnation, I don't care if it's Jason Todd, Grayson, I don't care if it's Tim Drake, whatever. I mean, all the Robins are kick-ass dudes, but they're still kids. And so my whole thing is, what if you had a Robin story where he donned the costume. He didn't have any support from Bruce or from Alfred. And he hits the streets, and it is, I mean, he's out on his own, and he's out on it's for vengeance. And Bruce is trying to control him the best he can. He's trying to bring him in. He doesn't endorse it. He doesn't train him, nothing. And he's just an unhinged kid. And I've had a lot of people come to me and say, well, Jason Todd was unhinged. I go, of course he was. It's what ultimately got him killed. But I'm talking taking it a step further than that. Bruce still trained him. He still went out and hit the streets with him. I'm talking about, and I really want to tap into the parental aspect of this, the father role that Bruce could play. And that, look, I don't have teenage kids. You've had teenage kids. You now technically, I mean, heck, Jake's 17, but Jake's a good boy, right? You're not dealing with this, but I know a lot of parents that have teenagers and that are reckless. They sneak out, they go do crazy things. I deal with none of that. Yeah, I know you don't. And the trials and tribulations that some of my friends have gone through with their unhinged teenage kids, it's heartbreaking and it's gut wrenching. And what if we tapped into that in the story? I really tapped into it and tapped into the fatherhood. We haven't seen that yet. Now, to be fair, Joel Schumacher played with it a little bit in Batman Forever.
Yeah, I mean,
but even then, it was more like a big brother thing than a father thing. I mean, I want this to be a true, like, he's the dad, he's the surrogate father. And I have visions in my head. I mean, it's hard to translate this, to verbalize it, but of Bruce sitting around in silence for a couple of minutes, waiting by the phone, wondering where and whatever you want to call him, whatever he ends up being. If he's Dick Grayson, great. If he's a hybrid of Dick and Jason or whatever, that's fine as well. I just want him to work and to build on that. And then in the second film, perhaps he's a little bit, he's older, so Bruce is training him, and there's still apprehension and there's still conflict, but there's a story to be told there. And then by the third one, it's sort of a full-blown dynamic duo, and perhaps even in that film we see him become Nightwing towards the end. But he's certainly Robin. And I think in a 3-part story that builds and has an 8-10 year span, I think that would be a Batman and Robin story for the ages. I really do. It's just my opinion.
It's hard to put all of that into one film. That's the positive of spreading it out over a course of 2-3 films.
And I've had people say, "Do you want this just to be a trilogy about Batman and Robin?" Well, look, that can be the center focus, but there's still all these subplots going on. I mean, and different things going. I mean, hell, Batman Begins is a great example of Nolan really juggled different stories going on, but the center story was truly Batman coming of age and finding himself. But you still had these stories going on that surrounded it.
I don't know if I'd want it to be the entire focus of a trilogy, but I certainly have no problem with it being this persistent storyline throughout a run of films, and ultimately seeing him become Robin. And
and you can pull it off in a more subplot fashion too. That's fine.
What do you say? Okay, and I'm playing devil's advocate in a way, and I'm speaking for a group of fans who would ask this, who would say, well, it works in the comics. I mean, you got to have full-on Robin. There's nothing wrong with him being 13, 14 years old. What do you say to that?
I say that's fine if that's your opinion. There's not a right or wrong here. I'm just saying personally, I don't know if that would resonate with an audience. And that's also, this is predicated on the fact that we're talking about we don't want Nolan duplicated, but a Nolan-esque Batman universe where it's gritty, it's grounded in reality. And if that's the case, it's not this heightened Joe Schumacher kind of thing. Then I don't think that him endorsing and training a kid is, I don't know if that would work. And I think that's one of the reasons why filmmakers have stayed away from it. And I think Tim Burton's on record saying something similar to that. In fact, and I know that Tim Burton originally had him in '89, and then he was a variation of the character as the kid or whatever in Batman Returns. And I've seen the storyboards with Robin stuff in '89, and it's interesting to look at. But there's a reason at the end of the day that he was cut out. I mean, look, in BVS, Robin's present, but he's dead. Now, that's presumably Jason Todd, and Dick Grayson is probably off being Nightwing in that universe somewhere. I don't know. We probably will never really know what that intention was, considering that we don't know what's going to happen with the Matt Reeves film. But at the end of the day, if I had to just boil it down and say this. In a live-action film, if you make him too old, it doesn't work. If you make him too young, it's my belief that, yes, it's in the comics, I get that, but I don't think that would translate to a live-action film and resonate, because you're talking about training a kid and taking him out on the streets.
It's really, I could buy into a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old-ish. I mean, I cannot buy a 12, 13-year-old, I mean, there are kids who are getting, scholarships to play football and different athletic events when there's, 16, 17, they're committed, and so you
can serve in the military when you're 18.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go fight a war and die overseas for your country when you're 18. I get that, and perhaps that's what it builds to in the second film.
It's just
bring him in. I think originally in the article said 15, 16 or whatever, because I said it'd be cool if he could legally drive at least. But you can bring him in to give the story more arc. Bring him in at 12, 13, and have that teenage kid. Well, it should be 13, 14. Have that teenage kid be the aforementioned description I gave.
Yeah.
By the second film, he is like 16, 17, and that's when Bruce brings him and starts training him.
Yeah.
And basically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then say by the third film, I don't know, Bill, he's 22. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The point is to slow build, have him as a young kid, but he is not endorsed or trained in any shape, form, or fashion.
Don't rush it. Don't, you don't have the death. And you know what? We didn't hit on, Rick, real quick with that, because I was going to say it. The most important thing to me is that you got to have the orphan aspect. The parents being killed, that's what brings them, you know, that's they're a tie that binds them, you know?
Yep.
It's I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, think it has to have that. It can't be just some, you know, I mean, you had it in Dark Knight Rises, you know, that was part of it. And I think that's an important part of the part. I know Tim Drake was an orphan when he became Robin, but the original Robin, I mean, Dick Grayson, it's the crux of the whole thing, man, is that they had that common bond that they shared, this experience. Your parents killed in front of their eyes when they were kids. So,
right. Well, at least with Tim Drake, he had lost his mother. Yeah. He had his dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, but you're not orphaned if you have one parent.
Didn't Tim Drake figure out that Bruce Wayne was Batman just by?
Oh, don't get me started on that, Bill, because, you know, Justin will talk about John Blake's orphan vision and everything. I'm like, well, doesn't every orphan have that power? I'm like, no, just him. Tim Drake is the only one that really figured out who Batman is on his own.
All right.
That's the Drake and the Blake, yo.
All right.
Don't get me started on people that shit on John Blake.
All right. Make sure you read Rick's op-ed. What was the official title, Rick?
How to make Robin work in a live-action film, I believe. Yeah. Well, and let's have a discussion about it. I mean, look, there's no right or wrong here. That's my opinion, and it's an educated opinion, and it's an opinion I'm passionate about. They need to do something if they're going to bring him in. They need to do something bold, and I would like to see them take their time with it. And I would like to see a young Robin, and I want to really touch upon, I'll put emphasis on this one more time, to really touch upon the parental aspect of this in a film, to really see Bruce as the father, and what a father would go through having an unhinged teenager, and then having to just succumb to that and say, you know, and you could even have a moment that's even sort of akin to what happened in Batman Forever, where perhaps Robin saves Batman's life, and therefore,
there's some.
That's fair to say. Chris O'Donnell's Robin more or less saved his life, right? Before he was
absolutely
pulled him out of the.
There's some good.
The sin.
Look, there's some good moments. Overall, I think Robin was done pretty well in Batman Forever. It's pretty faithful to the comic books as far as being in a circus and all that stuff. And then
all that was,
you know, there's some good scenes. The one you mentioned about, you know, him saving Batman, and then the one when he takes out the Batmobile and gets into a situation, and Batman comes and saves him, and then he starts, you know, pounding on Batman's chest, and you could have saved them, and Val Kilmer is Batman's, and it's he said, if Bruce Wayne would have given his life to save your parents, he would have.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, it is.
They look. I say this in the article. Schumacher took a swing at it, ultimately missed. I don't like it nearly as much as you do, but there are some really good moments. And,
well, I don't know if he missed. I'd say maybe he hit a single or double, but we're talking about hitting a home run here. I mean, doing something that's really, really, really good, really special.
That's a good common ground
special,
right there.
like Nolan did in The Dark Knight Rises.
Let's hit a home run, and I want him in costume.
Yes.
And and then, you know, in the first film, it's a house-made costume too.
I'm gonna say it, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Anyway, real quick, and I'll say it, and then we'll move to the next topic. Down here in the comments, make sure you post your thoughts. Maybe Rick will even show up and join you in a civil discourse.
Well, we're doing a podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Me and Justin and Ryan and Paul Herman, and because Paul, our friend, was texting me the other day. I read your article, liked it, disagreed with a great deal, was texting me. I said, dude, that's a show. Stop texting me. Let's do that in a show. He's giving me a thumbs up.
Good.
We're going to do that tonight. Again, it'll be fun.
Good. All right. I'll just say it. It'll be tough to top. It'll be tough to top that John Blake Robin, but.
But you can't do that again.
Someone's got to do it.
That's a vacuum Robin in that universe, and it's an awesome Robin. Yeah. But we need a real. Yeah. I don't want to say real Robin. You know what I mean?
Yes. All right. And read Rick's article on Batman on Film, and you can discuss in there on Discuss in the comments section. All right. Let's talk just a little bit about this. It's being titled as, or referred to right now as, a Joker origin film, and I did the quotation marks in the air, and starring Joaquin Phoenix. Directed by Todd Phillips from the Hangover trilogy, and I believe produced by Martin Scorsese. He may be an executive producer, but he was involved. You know, it's been apparently it's been given the green light. They're going to start filming in September. $50 million budget, which is relatively low for again, I'm doing the quotation if you don't see it, a comic book film. I think that people are reading this completely wrong, and it's going to be something 180 from what they're imagining. You know what I mean, Rick? And I wrote an article last night. I think I don't know how much Joker or origin you're actually going to see in this movie. And it may just go by as a period piece, 80s gritty, urban crime, drama, gangster film with a bit, and I have to give John Reagan credit for this, from the Batman on Film Facebook fan discussion group, an element of Falling Down, the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas, which was directed by Joel Schumacher, by the way, which is a great movie. Have you seen Falling Down, Rick?
It's my favorite Joel Schumacher film. My second favorite would probably be Flatliners.
Okay, so you see what I'm talking about. The analogy I thought was great, because I was getting that, but he said Falling Down. I said that's it. A guy who just freaking loses it, you know, gets beat down and loses. And
Robert Duvall's character is a Gordon-esque,
So what do you? I just think they're thinking comic book, popcorn, a Joker version of Batman Begins, Superman the movie, Spider-Man, Iron Man, whatever origin film we've had, and where we meet this guy, he's going to be the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, and then then about halfway through, or in the first act, he becomes the Joker, and then you get to the main story and he's Jokered up the rest of it, and boom, that's the story. I don't think we're getting that at all.
Did I read that Thomas Wayne's character is
someone said something that,
okay,
I know.
And I don't know. I'm asking.
I have no idea.
Okay, that's interesting if he is. No, I think I agree with you.
Look, that's fine. I don't care, and I would think that would have to be set in Gotham as well. But look, it's its own thing, Rick. It's
sure.
It's not beholden to anything, and I can tell you right now, it's not setting up Matt Reeves' film.
Yeah,
Matt Reeves is going to set up his own Batman world in his film, not in this. So enough of that.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's good because I agree with you to a large degree, but at the same time, I'm also trying to get in the head of the people that are the powers that be that are going to market this film. And would they not look if you put out a film that's called The Joker, and
what if the Joker's not even in the title?
And well, okay, let's just assume that it is in some way because it probably is. There's got to be some element to the traditional Joker that people are used to seeing. Otherwise, it's just going to have backlash. No one's going to like it. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, it's got to have it has to have a balance to it.
But then
you can't just call it that and not have.
Well, I don't know what it's going to be called. That's what I'm saying. What if it's not? Well, what if it has no? There's nothing about the Joker in the title. What if it's a urban? Look, $50 million is not where it has to make $1 billion or anything even near that to make money or break even. It sounds like to me they're making a film, not an event.
I agree. I think this is going to be a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be heavy on dialogue. I think it's going to have complex characters. I'm assuming it has a great cast. I agree with you. Phoenix is he's no, pardon the pun here, but he's no joke. That dude's the real deal.
He doesn't He's very selective in the roles he takes.
He's very selective in the role he takes.
And takes some very
big risks.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Whether it's Johnny Cash or what's the film where he was like in love with the robot or not a robot? What was that?
Oh,
what was that?
Her.
It was Her. Bizarre. Yeah. Right. Anyway, that's him. He's a very artsy guy.
Very much.
And he wants to be known as that. He doesn't want to be known as a mainstream blockbuster guy. So to say, Rick, to say this, and I said in the article, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't just take anything. No.
Doesn't that tell you something? That doesn't mean the movie's going to be any good. You know?
Right. Right. But the script is at least the script is worth it to him, right? How it's executed remains to be seen.
I think that
I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be the Joker film that some people think, and maybe that'll ultimately be a disappointment. But I certainly don't think that there won't be components of. I would be shocked if we don't see him as the Joker in at least a quasi traditional sense.
I would do it, and if I did, I would do it at the end, and I would. I don't think this is something they're planning on that's going to set up sequels in a franchise. It's it's a movie, a one-off.
It's Taxi Driver.
Yes. Yeah. 7. I mean, name some others that are just, French Connection.
Heat.
Heat. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not
Forrest Gump. No, I'm kidding.
I'm
being dumb.
Yeah, but I just think people, and I'm not knocking them, but I'm just trying to get them to think outside their bubble. Okay, I'm in the bubble too sometimes. Okay, oh, it's a comic book movie. Oh, it's the Joker. Well, you have to have, no, you don't have to have Batman. He's going to be dumped in a vat of acid. No, he doesn't have to be dumped in a vat of acid.
No, he doesn't. I mean, Nolan's already proven that.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's, and you're expecting it to be, I mean, look, for gosh sakes, Logan should, that's no summer popcorn flick, Right. And, in fact, it's one of the greatest comic book films. I put it up there. It's up there with The Dark Knight. Logan is.
What do you think in terms of, first of all, is Scorsese still attached to this thing?
Well, we just said that. Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was not mentioned in that.
I think he's executive producer. I don't think he's an active producer on it though.
I just feel like he was, and then when the official word came out, he wasn't mentioned at all, which was strange to me. So I wonder if he still is.
I just don't know if he was ever a full-on producer on it. I think he was involved in,
Perhaps I would just think that
I can't comment.
Yeah, with his clout, that they would include that, particularly since it was referenced before. I don't know. I hope so. That makes it all the more compelling to me. Look, I'm excited for it to a large degree because, well, I'm excited. Let's not use that word. I'm not excited yet. But man, I am curious.
Curious. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Very curious. Like, what direction is this going in, and what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
All right. So we know we're getting this film, and it remains to be seen exactly how much of the actual history and everything that we'll see. Where does this leave Jared Leto's Joker, in your opinion? Are they going to coexist? Are we going to see him again?
I don't think we'll see Jared Leto's Joker again. I don't.
I hope you're wrong, but I don't think we will either.
I don't think Matt Reeves as Batman is going to be part of that whole deal, and
Please
I don't think that. I think especially look, Leto took on. He's signed on to do Morbius, which is a Marvel property. Not saying you can't do both, but I mean, if he's kind of like Phoenix in a way. He's picky about his roles, extremely picky, and he agreed to do the Joker. Didn't work out the way he wanted. I'm quite sure. Gets a chance to do another comic book movie, playing a vampire. It's actually set in the Spider-Man world. It's a Sony deal, and this is maybe him moving on. I personally don't think we'll see Leto's Joker again.
Did you see Lawrence Fishburne is got his toe dipped in the Marvel world now as well?
It was a minor role, but
I know. I'm just saying that
that's full on MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Read my review on Batman on Film. It's good movie. Yeah, but I think there's something to be said that when these cats take a role in the Marvel Universe after being in DC, and maybe vice versa, it's kind of like, kind of moving on. I think it's more of a fan. Oh, he's such and such in this Marvel film. He can't be so and so in a DC film. Yeah, you kind of can, but I still think I don't think that either side would want a major player in a DC or Marvel film to be also doing movies in the other. You know, I mean,
it's funny how we've talked about this before, but it's funny how times have changed so much that you can coexist in these various franchises. You can be Batman, then you can be Vulture and Spider-Man. I mean, granted, it's many years apart, but you're not typecast. I mean, that used to not be the case.
Yeah,
Chris Reeve was typecast.
He wouldn't have been doing Vulture and Batman at the same time.
No. But what I'm saying is, if Chris Reeve was making if Chris Reeve made Superman movies in 2005, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for Chris Reeve to be playing, I don't know, just name anything in a Marvel film, right? That's what I'm saying. It's different now than it used to be.
Like him showing it, like if he hadn't passed, unfortunately, it was still acting his ass off. Do a Marvel film today.
Absolutely, it would not be weird at all.
No.
I mean, look at Ryan.
I don't think same time.
Look at Ryan Reynolds and look what he's done from Green Lantern to Deadpool.
Yeah.
And he even gets an opportunity to mock it and goes in and kills Ryan Reynolds reading the Green Lantern script in Deadpool too. I mean, it's just such a weird. There's two Supermans. There's Henry Cavill. There's the guy on Supergirl. There's two Flash, and it's just funny.
It is, but I think we're getting down to it. I don't think that's for example. I don't think Tom Holland's going to keep playing Spider-Man and then come over and be Robin in Matt Reeves' Batman film. That's what I'm talking about.
That would be extreme.
Yes,
but
I'm talking about at different points of their career.
Sure, and that's why I referenced Michael Keaton. That's 20 something years later.
Yes, he was Batman. He played a DC superhero, but
30 years
later, he's playing a Marvel bad guy. That's fine.
How many years ago was 1989?
29, brother.
Jesus.
30 next year. We'll probably have to celebrate that for its 30th anniversary. All right, let's get
still
the hell
holds
out
up.
of here. Yeah, I would just say to fans, don't think with. I don't want to say this.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, don't. Everything you're expecting, think the opposite. Because I think that's where they're going. All right, Rick, plugs.
Well, I'm going to do the Robin podcast via Batman on Film tonight with Paul Herman, Justin, and Ryan. So I'll be looking for that. And then if you haven't read my Robin op-ed, please read it. And let's talk about it. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers here. This is just my opinion. Tell me where you think I'm off base. I know a lot of you guys are hardcore Robin fans. You're the ones I really like talking to because you challenge me in ways that people that aren't necessarily into Robin as much as. And I've been enjoying reading some good standalone Robin stories lately as well. So it's been a fun ride. So let's talk about it. Read it. Let's talk. Listen to the podcast. It'll probably be live later this week. What is today? Thursday? Sure, we'll have it up probably by, I don't know, Saturday, at the very latest Monday.
All right.
Shew Rick.
At Shew Rick on Twitter. All right.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. Got a lot of Dark Knight 10 stuff on Batman on Film right now, so please check all that out. I wrote a piece about my set visit, and I actually took the clip of the 3 things I saw that day. While I was in Chicago in June of 2007, saw filmed. And they actually run all together in the movie. Of course, it lasts about a minute. All three of those, we talked about on the phone. All 3 of those scenes I saw being filmed, right? I mean, like, damn near 12 hours of filming, at least 10, is a little over a minute in that movie.
I spent 8 hours on the set of a Chili's commercial one time for a close-up and one line. So yeah, it's crazy how that happens. Hey, sounds like a side note. I'll do this in 20 seconds. I'm reading a comic the other night. My oldest jumps into bed with me, and she's like, "What are you reading?" I said, "Well, I'm reading a Batman comic." She's like, "Read it to me." I said, "Okay." Comes to a part where Batman and Robin it's Tim Drake's Robin, are talking to Gordon, and then he turns around and they're gone. And he says, "Great, he's even got the boy doing it now," or something like that. And Hadley just ate that up. She's like, why did they do that? That's so cool. And I said, well, they were just, when they're done, they're done. When Batman's done, he's out. And I was trying to explain that to her, the nuance of it. And she just ate it up. I said, well, let me show you in a movie when that happens. And I showed her the vault scene in The Dark Knight, right? Where he's talking to Gordon. He's like, one man or the entire mob. Yeah. Do you trust him? Right. He turns around, he's gone, right? Anyway, I showed her that scene. She loved it. So she's addicted to this whole thing that Batman does that to people. But coming full circle here, I told her that you were there when they were filming it, and she just lit up. She lit up. He saw that. He met Batman. Because right now in her head, Christian Bale's Batman of the Dark Knight, and that scene is Batman.
They filmed that from Gordon running up the stairs to him with Ramirez in the bank lobby to the vault scene. That's what they filmed that day. All frickin' day. Good,
because it's a flawless scene,
and it's
or sequence.
It is literally just a tad over a minute. Yep. They filmed that vault scene for 4 hours, Rick. 4 hours.
Sure. How many different takes how many different times did you hear Bell say that one man or the entire mob? Do you remember? Was it a dozen? What was it?
We were watching it on a monitor, and it was hard to completely hear what everything they were saying because it wasn't really mic'd up. We were on the same feed as the boom mics or anything like that, but it was weird because, and you would know this because you've acted, is a lot of that, like when Bale is him again, all that's just him looking at us with a stand-in. Gary Oldman wasn't even there.
Yeah.
And Gary Oldman's response as Gordon is he's not talking to Bale. I don't think they were both, except for him when he walks in, and all that. And you have that shot where you see, he's there with Ramirez and Batman comes in and then he gives her that look and she, gives us a couple minutes, she walks out. I don't know if they were in that 4 hours or even in the vault together for very long. And another thing, it's just bringing back memories, is they would take, when Bell, between takes, they would take, the cow in the back would come apart, and they'd put it was like wide open, and they were fanning the F out of him. There's fans blasting, because it's got to be hot as,
there's no telling.
What, and with all the lights and stuff. And and I wrote about it in a piece about it. The vault was a old post office box area, because the place was an old post. It's called the old post office in Chicago, and so they took the post office and made it a vault. The vault door, the one you even see them drilling it, in the beginning, the heist, the Joker scene,
the heat scene.
The vault door is made out of wood. It was wood. Movie magic, man. I touched the door. I went into the vault, and it blew my mind, Rick, because I literally thought that's probably a steel door. No, it was made out of wood. It was unbelievable. And you
that's
never.
Cool.
I hope I didn't ruin the movie. Now you're gonna watch that door. That vault door is wood. No, it's just that was the good old days. Read my article. I talk about all of it. Okay, read the article. And
awesome.
I got a lot of Dark Knight stuff, and I got about this Joker origin film I just dropped last night, and go to Batman Film, read it, and read some stuff. Bring some friends with you too, please. Good times had for all at Batman on Film.
And read my Robin article.
All right, so let's get the hell out of here. All right, Batman on Film, Rick. Batman on Film is freaking authoritative. It's definitive. And what else is it?
It's the Dadgum original.
That's right. All right. Thanks for watching. We will catch you next time. Adios.